Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tessie and today we'll be learning how to make a corset with a yoke. Trust me, this tutorial is going to be very simple. If you're yet to subscribe, please do that. Let's get right into the video. So as you can see, I folded my pattern paper into two and I'll be taking my shoulder measurement divided by 2. My shoulder divided by 2 will give me 7.5, and I came down to my armhole line, which is 9 inches, and I chalked down my bust point line at 11 inches, my under bust 14 inches, and my waistline 17 inches. So I went ahead to connect the lines. So after connecting the lines, I indicated my lines, as you can see. So on the starting point, I'll be taking my neck measurement. I'll be using 3 inches, and I'll be coming down by 3 inches as well. So I'll go ahead now to connect the lines. So on that shoulder area, I'll come down by 1 inches for my shoulder slope, and I'll connect the lines together. So I'll check what I have on that chest line area. So I have 8 inches divided by 2 will give me 4, which I chalked, and I'll be coming in by half an inch on that line, and I'll go ahead now to curve in my armhole. So after doing that, what I'll be doing next is placing my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So my nipple to nipple is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4. I chalked 4 inches on all the lines, and I went ahead to connect the lines together. So what I'll do next is place my darts. On the underbust area, I'll be using 1 inches on both sides. So I chalked 1 inches on this side and also 1 inches on this other side. So I'll go ahead now to connect to the waistline. So on the bust point line, I'll come down by half an inch. As you can see, I came down by half an inch on that bust point line. Then I'll connect from the under bust to that half an inch that I came down at. So using my curve ruler, I just connected to that half an inch. So now you determine how deep you want that neckline to be. So for me, I'm just going to chalk from my shoulder to 7 inches. So from the shoulder, I chalked 7 inches, as you can see. And from that point, I'm just going to connect to that 7 inches line. So what I'll be doing next is I'll be taking 1 inch on both sides. If you're on the small side, you can take 0.75 inch, but I'll be using 1 inch on both sides. So as you can see, I chalked 1 inch on this part and also 1 inch on this other part. So now I'll connect that 1 inches line to the bust point. So after doing that, what I'll be doing next is on that chest line, I'll be coming in by half an inch. So I came in by half an inch, as you can see. I'm just going to connect that half an inch to my bust point line, then connect to the under bust. Just watch what I'm doing. I connected to the bust point, and from that bust point, I'm just going to connect it to the under bust using my curve ruler. So what I'll do next is just curve in my neckline. So I'll be using my curve ruler to just curve in the neckline. As you can see, I'm trying to give it a sweetheart effect. So guys, we are done with this side of the cup. We'll move to this other side. So I'll check the distance between the bust and the under bust. So as you can see, I have 3 inches. I'll be adding 1 inch to it. The reason why I'm adding 1 inch to it is because the bust is fuller on this side than on this side. So I added 1 inch to it, which is 4 inches. I'm going to chalk that 4 inches on my bust point line. And from that point, I'm going to connect it to the under bust using my curve ruler. After connecting, what I'll do next is just connect from that bust point to the chest line. So as you can see, I connected from the bust point to the chest line just like this. So guys, what I will do next is connect from this point straight down here. So I'll be using my curve ruler as well. So I'll go ahead now to just blend this point together. So guys, after blending, as you can see, this is what I have, and this side will serve as the yoke. So I'll go ahead now to label this as my front yoke, and I'll be taking it out. So now I'll be placing my body measurement at that chest line. I'll place my bust measurement divided by 4. I'll replace back that 1 inches, that with 2, that's 2 inches. Then I'll add 1 inches sewing allowance. On the waistline, I'll place my waist measurement divided by 4. I'll replace back this dart with 2, the 2 inches dart, and I'll be adding 1 inches for my sewing allowance. Now I'll go ahead to connect my lines together. So guys, we are done with the front part. I'll go ahead now to cut out my pattern. Please make sure to label your cup before cutting them out, because you don't want to get confused. So this will be my number 1 and this will be my number 2. Now I'll go ahead to cut out my cup. After cutting out my front pattern, this is what it looks like, as you can see. So we're moving over to the back. So for the back, I folded my pattern paper into 2, and the first thing is to chalk out your zip allowance, which I have 1.5 inches, and I'm going to connect it into a straight line. So this area will serve as the zip allowance, and I'll be taking all my measurements from this other side of the pattern. So I chalked my shoulder divided by 2, and I came down to my armhole line, which is 9, and I came down to the bust point at 11 and my waist at 17. I'll go ahead now to connect my lines together. After doing that, I'll be indicating the points. Now I'll take my neck measurement. I'll be using 3 inches, and I'll be coming down by 1.5. I'll go ahead now to curve in my neckline. On that shoulder area, I'll come down by 1 inches for my shoulder slope. I'll go ahead now to connect the lines together. I'll check what I have on that chest line area. So I have 8 inches divided by 2 will give me 4. So what I'll do is from that 4 inches, I'll curve out my armhole. So now I'll be taking my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 4 inches. I chalked 4 inches on all the lines, and I connected it into a straight line. On that waist area, I'll be taking my dart. So I'll be taking half an inch on both sides. Then I'll connect those half an inch straight down to the bust point line. So after connecting, I'll be placing my body measurement. On that chest line area, I'll place my bust measurement divided by 4. My bust divided by 4 is 9.5. I'll be adding 1 inches for sewing allowance. On the waistline area, I'll place my waist measurement divided by 4, which will give me 8. I'll replace back that 1 inches that we took, and I'll be adding extra 1 inches for sewing allowance. So now I'll go ahead to connect these lines together. So after doing that, you don't want your zip bulging at the back. So what I'll do is on that waistline area, I'll just come in on that folded area by half an inch. And from that half an inch, I'm just going to slant it all the way up. So just watch what I'm doing. So after slanting, as you can see, we are done with the back part. That's if you want to use a basic bodice block for the back. But we'll be using a yoke for this. So what I'll be doing now is on that neckline area, I'm just going to slant from that point straight down to the chest line. So I'll slant from the neckline to the chest line. So just watch what I'm doing. So after slanting, as you can see, I'll be taking this part off. I won't be using it. So my zip is going to be starting from that chest line area. So what I'll do next is to take out that part that I don't need so that you guys will understand. So I'll go ahead now to cut this part off. So guys, after doing that, I'll label this part as my zip allowance. Now I'll go ahead to cut out my pattern. So guys, after cutting out my pattern, this is what I have. I'm just going to label this part as my back yoke, and I'll go ahead now to take out the yoke. So now, in case you do not want a zip, you want to add a loop to it, you know you'll be taking out the zip allowance area, and you are also going to be taking out some inches for the back to be exposed. So let's say I'm not adding a zip to this, I'm adding a loop. So I'm just going to take 1 inches. I don't want the back too exposed, so I'm going to be chucking 1 inches, and I'll connect it together, and I'll be taking that 1 inches and the zip allowance area off. So I'll go ahead now to cut it out so you guys will understand. So this is what it's going to look like. As you can see, in case you're not adding a loop to this, this is what it looks like for the back. So guys, this is what the back and the front pattern looks like. As you can see, in case you want to join your corset, I have a detailed tutorial on how to join a corset. Go ahead, join the corset, and you attach your yoke to it, and you're good to go. Hope this tutorial was helpful. See you guys in the next class. Bye.